Morning.
Morning. Doing, man?
Dude, I'm good. I'm gonna not forget the stupid intro this time.
It's not stupid. It's only lame.
I just do that thing where I call it stupid so you can tell me that it's not stupid.
Fishing for compliments, huh?
Like with dynamite. This is Brewing with Company, talk show / podcast, or whatever the hell you want to call it. We're a couple of average Joes drink a cup of Joe. Talk about pop culture and video games. And it is almost December.
It is.
And so that means Game Awards.
Game Awards.
Right around the corner. And as much as I love the Game Awards, this one came with already has a controversy online as of a couple days ago.
I mean, it's 2024, so why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, man, we can't end it here. What I'm referring to is the Game Awards official Twitter had an FAQ. Somebody asked the question, are DLCs, expansion packs, and remakes / remasters eligible? And the reply was this. The Game Awards aims to recognize the best creative and technical work each year, irrespective of the format of the content released. Expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are eligible in all categories. If the jury deems the new creative and technical work to be worthy of a nomination, factors such as a newness of the content and price / value should be taken into consideration. Well, I'll start with the easy one in this. Oh, okay, never mind. I should not use the word easy because, dude, this is more divided than I thought it was going to be. I really thought this was going to be pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
But so the big argument to this that started this is that now everybody and their mother is like, great, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree just won Game of the Year.
That's probably.
Okay, first off, I still think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has a shot. And not because I'm advocating for it, because I'll just say my argument right off the rip. I do not think you should put a DLC, no matter how glorious it is. This is not me shitting on Shadow of the Erd Tree, because I've heard it's phenomenal, and it is what it is, but no, a DLC should not be eligible for Game of the Year. I don't think so at all.
See, I would agree with you. I don't know. It's just it depends, because like I'm just thinking of what if there is a DLC that completely it completely elevates or just elevates like the game from to its next level, like, you know, like you like a DLC that you just absolutely have to play, or going back to, you know, the OG version, the vanilla version of the game, would be like just absolute step down. But I mean, I see where you're probably already gonna go with this. So I'm gonna let you get there.
But, well, to me, I'm not saying Shadow of the Erd Tree didn't have a creative vision. Right. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think DLCs of any kind should be considered for Game of the Year. Now, if there wants to be a category in the Game Awards of best there's best continuing video game. There's, if they could make a best DLC / expansion category, by all means, go right ahead. Toss Shadow of the Erd Tree in there, and it should be going up. It shouldn't be going up against, you know, Helldivers 2, Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, all these games that are likely to get nominated for Game of the Year. Should not be going up against. It should be going up against Diablo 4 DLC. It should be going up against
Helldivers.
Helldivers 2 has a shot at Game of the Year. I don't know if I agree with that, just as a voting standpoint.
I know people say that it does, but I'm like, I don't know. Me personally, I don't know.
It goes back and forth, right? Because like, if I'm going to sit here and say Helldivers 2 has a shot at Game of the Year, I'm going to be a little hypocritical, because back in 2016, I lost my mind when Overwatch got Game of the Year over Uncharted 4. to this day, it's because of the type of gamer I am. All right, so like, I personally don't think online video games have a shot at Game of the Year,
or should be.
Yeah, but
they should have
I
their
could
own
also
category.
see where I'm wrong. I could also see where I'm wrong. It's a game that was made this year, whereas Shadow of the Erdtree, sorry for all of its glory, and I know everybody, all the Elden Ring fanatics are like, why the hell not? I'm like, dude, because it's a DLC. And to be honest with you, if there was a DLC category, it would sweep the floor.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's where I'm a little hypocritical. I also don't think remakes, and especially a remastered, absolutely. Can we all at least agree remastered?
I will say that.
Get the hell out of here. You don't get to be Game of the Year. That's a remaster means you didn't change much other than fidelity and graphics and maybe some control scheme. No.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Remasters, absolutely not. Remakes is a bit of a different story because I mean, you could really do something special with remakes. Remasters, it's just basically bringing it up to date to the current gaming scheme, whatever you have going on. So I would say that you pretty much, you and I are somewhat in agreement there. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now of an example. But I'm just thinking of like, you know, the type of DLC that is just like, I mean, I don't know if you would count it as DLC. Now I'm gonna throw it way back, and correct me if I'm acting stupid, but like, what about something like, do you remember Pokemon Silver, Gold?
Silver is my favorite Pokemon.
Right. So once you beat the game, you got a DLC. Well, it wasn't DLC, but it was like another game after it where you got to go back and play. Like, that was one of the most mind-blowing, amazing things I could have ever have imagined back then. Now imagine a DLC like that. That's the only thing that's kind of, now I know I'm reaching back 25 years ago into my childhood, and you know, but like, I'm just thinking of stuff like that. And granted back then it wasn't a DLC because there was no such thing as DLC back then. But like, you know, nowadays that would be considered a deal, like something like that would be considered a DLC and be offered as a, you know, for monetary price and whatnot. But I just think
Game of the Year.
That, I mean,
Game of the Year.
It depends on what else comes out that year too. But then again, back in 1998, I think it was. You know, we didn't have Black Myth Wukong and
true. But that's my thing, though, is
and stuff. So yeah,
Game of the Year is supposed to be this year's new creative vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even like sequels, obviously, it's a brand new game. Have at it. It can be Game of the Year. Remasters, no. I have an argument against remakes being Game of the Year, but it
depends on the remake.
That one's a gray area that I'm gonna have a hard time with, because like, take Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right?
Right.
If I say no, remakes don't deserve Game of the Year, then, which a lot of people will say, but then you get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is in itself its own game, dude. Same with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It was its own game because you've taken such a drastic remake right now. Like, I just bought Dragon Quest III Remake.
Mm-hmm.
I've only played like an hour of it, so I don't really have like a review of it, quote unquote. But to me, that is such a massive overhaul remake that it just feels like a brand new game. I still don't know if it should be Game of the Year. I don't know. But here's where I'm an absolute hypocrite: is I voted for Resident Evil 4 Remake last year as my vote. I kind of did that for fun, though, because I knew Baldur's Gate 3 was going to take it. And I probably should have voted for Baldur's Gate 3, even though I only played 6 hours of it.
Right.
I'm also,
Well, I just thought of something though. What about Silent Hill 2 remake? Now, I haven't played that yet, but
I don't think it should.
Amazing things about it.
I've heard it's phenomenal. but I don't know. I don't know, man. I will give it this. I don't have a definitive answer on the remake. But DLC,
DLC.
I want to put my own foot down and say no, because
I know. Like, would you have been mad in 2012 if oh my god, the Skyrim DLC? I can't remember what it's called right now.
For Game of the Year.
Would you have been mad?
I would have. Well, dude, even take games that did win Game of the Year that eventually went on to have really great DLCs. The Witcher 3.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those DLCs were freaking phenomenal.
Okay,
In 2016, I would not have said, hey, well, actually, I don't know if any of them came out in 2016, but let's hypothetically say they did.
Sure.
I would say no. Witcher 3 had its time in the sun. And same with Elden Ring, dude. Elden Ring won Game of the Year, and even though it didn't have my vote, it earned it. It absolutely earned it. It was Game of the Year. To most people, it's Game of the Decade. And that's fine. Like, there's an argument to that. I don't, however, when they put out that tweet, I immediately felt really, really bad for Arrowhead Studios and Game Science, because as much as I wouldn't vote for Helldivers 2, that put a lot of live service in its check. Like, it put it in its place. It was the first live service game that I was like, holy shit, this is how you connect to a community. This is how you actually keep something like this going. And it's something that I can even go back to now, and it's still fun, even though I hadn't played it in like 2 months. We tossed it on the other day, and I was like, this continues to be, it has the player loop in a fashion that's well received. So I think Helldivers 2 is allowed to be nominated. I don't think it'll take it, but I think it's allowed to be nominated. I don't think
it'll take it, yeah.
No, I don't think it'll take it. To be honest with you, if Shadow of the Erdtree is on the list, it's gonna take it, and that kind of pisses me off.
So let's take Shadow out. What out of Final Fantasy Rebirth? What else came out this year? Black Myth.
So here's my 6 that Dragon's I think Dogma, is going to be there.
And
I don't think Dragon's Dogma. I don't think Dragon's Dogma or Stellar Blade take it, although they were good games. I think they get nominated for other categories. Okay. I think Stellar Blade definitely gets Best Action as a nomination.
I'm about to download that.
Yeah, I'm about to play it.
I'm about to play it without the lady in the house.
Dude, for real. I've heard it's fantastic.
I know, right?
I should have tried it.
Yeah, can you imagine? You know, she walks in and you're in the middle of like I don't know, try a
cutscene,
and you're like, I swear this isn't what you think it is.
It's like this is like Nier Automata on crack, I promise. And she's gonna be like, show me Nier Automata, and you're like, I can't. I don't have 72 hours. Dude,
all right, so what are your 6?
The 6 nominees that I think it's gonna be Astrobot, Helldivers 2, Black Myth Wukong.
Right.
You want me to exclude Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Because that's definitely going to be on there.
No.
Even if Erdtree's not. I'm saying Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantagio, and then I'm kind of up in the air on the 6th. I think...
God help you if you say Call of Duty.
No. God bless. Call of Duty should never, ever be Game of the Year. If it is, that's one hell of a Call of Duty.
I know, right? I would buy it finally for the first time in like
absolutely.
How many years? Well, Dragon's Dogma 2.
I don't think so. I don't think it will. Because it had such an unbalanced launch that it was equally known as like, this is a beautiful game that has problems. And did you play Dragon's Dogma 2?
I didn't play it, but
it's not my cup of tea.
I like Dragon's Dogma. I don't know, bro. Like, this year has been so busy for me. I mean, you know what's been going on. Like, this year's been so busy for me that I haven't really had any time to play games, and any games that I have had are the games that I already played before. Because like, either I'm trying to save money to make big purchases, or I'm just so busy that I don't have time for a new narrative just yet. So, I mean,
for the 6th place, I have a feeling I didn't
Dragon
play
Age.
Animal well.
Okay, I thought you were about to say Dragon Age.
I really fucking hope not. I really hope not. That would piss me off, dude.
Oh, God. I just want to see your face.
I'm not trying to hate on people that like Dragon Age.
Yeah,
sure. I went into full spoiler territory because like every little thing that wasn't spoiler was like, oh, that doesn't sound good to me. And then I would hint a little more, and I was like, well, that doesn't sound good to me. And then Skill Up, his review on it, I was like, well, this really doesn't sound good to me. And then I just started spoiling things for left and right, and I was like, this is a fucking friendship simulator, dude. This is not an RPG. This is BS. It's just a therapy session for these goons. I don't know.
Pretty much. You said Animal Well. I actually didn't.
I didn't
watch
play it.
I didn't even watch anything. I usually like games that I know I'm gonna miss. I usually like go in and watch stuff like on like gameplay on like Twitch or YouTube. I haven't watched anything of this yet. So like, what exactly? I mean, I see
It's an indie platform.
stars. I see 5 stars on Steam. That's pretty. It
was pretty, and it's overwhelmingly positive. So I didn't play it. It'll be on my back catalog for my Steam Deck next year probably. For the 6th nominee, what I would like to see, even though I know it for a fact it's not going to win it because it just didn't hit the numbers that I thought it should have. Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown, dude. That is one of the best Metroidvanias I've played in a long time. Its story was its weakest point. But damn, dude, it was so, I mean, Blasphemous takes the cake for me anyways. I love that game. But that's not 2023 was Blasphemous 2, so I would like to see Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. I think that 6th slot is kind of up in the air. Let me put it this way, you could be right. Dragon's Dogma 2 may get tossed there. Maybe it will. Right. You may also be right that Dragon Age the Veilguard might.
It was a little divisive. But it
may be tossed there.
Because I do remember one of the gaming groups I'm in. People were kind of split down the middle when Dragon's Dogma 2 was going on.
Yeah, it's the Silent Hill 2 remake might take that 6th slot. Realistically, it might. I think it will. I need to go and play it.
When did the first one come out? I can't even remember. Like it was when I was young.
The first
like,
Silent Hill.
2000. No, not the first Silent Hill, but Silent Hill 2, like the original.
Oh,
that must have been like when I was like, I think I was like in
2.
Oh yeah, so I must have been like in what was that, middle school? No, elementary school,
something like that.
Because I remember not being allowed to buy. I remember picking it up at GameStop, and then my dad just like he looked at it, and he was like, "Nope."
Dude,
what was I? I was like 10. Yeah, I think I was like 10 years old. Okay, so I was like 9. Yeah, that's funny.
It was back. Oh my god! It was back when Konami had Team Silent, and it was Kojima.
Oh, I mean, look at that.
The funny thing is, like, when they were,
the Bengals just scored. Okay, sorry.
I know, dude. They haven't scored for shit. I was watching them a second ago, and I was like, oh.
Well, no. They're tied up with the Chargers right now. 27-27.
Ali, I leave the game, and this is what happens. This is what happens when you argue for Shadow of the Erdtree to be Game of the Year.
I know, right?
No, I'm a little bummed, dude. If I see, because the nominees come out tomorrow on the 18th, and if Erdtree's on there, I think it's a bummer, dude. I really think it's a bummer to games like Metaphor ReFantagio. I'm not into those games. Like, I never liked Persona, but like,
yeah, I feel you. Now that you just said that, like, imagine being one of the developers for any of these games, right? And then just a DLC of Elden Ring or even like Baldur's Gate 3 comes out, and then that kind of takes up a spot, and you'd be like, bro, come on, man, that's not even a game.
You had your time in the sun. Yeah. And I get it. It was 40. I get it, dude. I get it. It is like the biggest DLC like ever made. It was like a whole new campaign. It was like 40 hours. It's like insane. It basically was a sequel. I think the funny thing is like, if From Software was like, here's a sequel, smaller game to Elden Ring, and released it as a game,
then
we'd be talking like, oh, it's Game of the Year. Yeah. And I find that really funny, though, because it's like, it's all about how you present it. And now all of a sudden I'm like, no, you don't get it because of the DLC.
So the reason, just because it's a DLC and it wasn't marketed as its own game.
This is what makes it hard, right? Because to me, I want to say yes to that, but I feel like I need to explain further. Yes, but mainly because to build this DLC, I'm not saying that work wasn't done, but you're taking the same template of Elden Ring. You're just duplicating the same template of Elden Ring. These developers have taken things that are already saved, already archived, everything that they already had as the meat and potatoes of Elden Ring are still there. That's why you continue it through your old saves. You have to beat certain bosses through your old saves. It may be the most impressive DLC ever made. I can agree to that 100%. But Game of the Year deserves to go to, like, I think, like, as much as I hate it to say it, Metaphor Refantagio should probably get a better
chance
shot. Yeah, dude, because, like, look, Atlas has been known to make incredible JRPGs, if you're into that genre or not. I've heard, if you find people that are into the Persona series, which I'm amazed. Holy shit! Now that I think about it, how are you not into these games? These are anime the video game. Like, Persona is, like, definitely up your alley. I'm amazed. I
probably should play some more of it, honestly. Yeah.
You need to go get Persona 3 like now.
Yeah.
Or even get Metaphor, dude, and play it, because they're in it for art style, but they're in it for story. Like, even the reviews I heard about Metaphor, it's not my type of game, but damn, dude, I think I'm gonna play it next year. I think I'm gonna throw it out there, because, like, why not just open up, expand my horizons on it. But I feel like that game is now gonna get overshadowed. And to me, like, my vote, Black Myth Wukong, if Erdtree's on there, it's just gone. This is just no shot.
Okay, so I have a question. Now let's run it back 4 years ago, 2020. I'm trying to remember other games that came out at the same time, but I honestly just can't remember at the moment. But Spider-Man Miles Morales came out in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know that I'm pretty sure other games came out that were better than that, but it was a good game. However, a lot of people's criticism of it was they'd be like, "Oh, it was basically like a DLC." So even though it was made into its own game, but it was pretty much like you said,
it pretty much is
almost
a
DLC. Everything was just picked up and then transferred over, and then they added snow, for like later on in that year, pretty much. So what if I don't think it was nominated for Game of the Year, but I think it was nominated for some
Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah.
No, it wasn't 2020. God dang,
Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and what was the other nominations?
Okay, well, let's say those games didn't come out that year, and Spider-Man Miles Morales was on that list. Would you have been upset at that, even though that game? Let's be honest, the game is beautiful. Dang, is Ghost of Tsushima really 2020?
Yeah. There was Hades, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Last of Us Part 2, and Animal Crossing. Last of Us Part 2 took it for Game of the Year.
That's a tough year. Okay, but let's just think of a year that was weak, a weak year, right?
2021.
And let's say 2021. Okay, yeah, 2021. Let's say Miles Morales came out in 2021, right? Would you have been upset about that being nominated as Game of the Year because of everything you said about Spider-Man 20? Like, so because they pretty much took everything from Spider-Man 2018 and then just kind of transferred it over and just like changed his move set, and then the setting was a different season.
Put me in a bind.
I know, right?
Put me in a bind. Because I agree with you. I think if you literally took Shadow of the Erdtree and was like, nope, this is a sequel, put it on its own disc, put it on its own platform, I would be like, wow, well deserving of Game of the Year. I would have to. Well, no, dude, because I gotta stick to my guns on this. At least to a certain degree, that Erdtree is a DLC.
It's a bit longer and a bit more. Yeah, you're right.
Again, totally agree. It's probably the best DLC ever crafted. Like, From Software knows what they're doing, but it's still like you have to take the base game. You have whatever loadout you have, whatever you're carrying, and whatever you're making happen in the original game is what you're doing here. Whereas in Miles Morales, we did change the combat setting. completely revamped the combat. We don't have the gadget wheel anymore. We have his powers, right?
True.
We did. There was significant upscaling, so it could be on the PS5. They did utilize new hardware. It was. I guess I'm being a hypocrite again. It is taking the baseline of Spider-Man 2018, but I feel like it added enough to it to make it a new game. Especially, I don't know why we're forgetting story about this too. This is a whole new protagonist. It is a whole new game. It's a whole new protagonist. And so maybe I should rephrase. Maybe I should take some words back. Maybe built it from the same skeleton is not its only reason that DLC shouldn't be there. I think it's because DLC, as opposed to a sequel, have to be expanded to a certain point. Where that line is drawn, this is where I may start losing this argument, right? Is like, where do we draw that line? As when does it become a sequel as opposed to a DLC?
DLC. Yeah.
I think if you change
I just wanted to kind of play devil's advocate. I was trying to think of a game, and
I think it's a valid argument.
Yeah,
that was a valid way to put me on my toes. I'm trying to stick to my guns here, but I think you have there's validity to that argument of being like, well, you'd be a hypocrite if you said this, and I'm like, damn, you might be right. I might be a hypocrite if you said this. So I don't know. I just have an issue with Shadow of the Erdtree being nominated for Game of the Year simply because there are other games.
Like, didn't y'all win enough?
Scratch.
Didn't you win enough? Damn it!
Yeah, but here's the thing: if they made a Elden Ring 2 next year and it won Game of the Year, I'd be like, congrats, good on you from Software. So it's kind of hard to.
Oh, what if they made an Elden Ring 2 built off of almost exclusively everything that came out in Shadow of the Erdtree?
I think people would be pissed. I think this argument would still come back up as people would be mad. I think people would be pretty angry. They'd be like, dude, I need you to make a new game.
I'm sorry. This month has been just me trolling. Well, everything that's been going on. It's been a good month. It's just been funny.
Man, you're keeping me on my toes. And I think the hard part about the Game Awards is we all get caught up in Game of the Year. We forget that there's like what is it, 15 categories or something? There's probably less than that, but
no, that's great. There's like best performance. There's like best, all that other stuff. Yeah,
there are certain things that absolutely deserve its attention, like best indie game, and which I definitely think Animal will take. Like Animal will take indie game. Best action game, probably Black Myth. If they don't put Rebirth in there, I think Black Myth, because like I said, I don't want to take these games out of the Game Awards. That's not what I'm saying. I just think Game of the Year should be centralized to the brand new title that was made in this year at the cutoff date, right? Yeah. Like, I think that is okay. And I get it. Remakes are hard, man. I think that's where I'm going to struggle in this argument, is because to me, do I think the Horizon Zero Dawn remake? Oh, no. No, I do not. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is an absolute recreation. They've even changed parts of the story. It's a completely different experience. Same thing with last year with Resident Evil 4. The Resident Evil 4 remake is a significant rebuild of that story and added to it. But last year that was the argument. RE4 was like, why is this here? This shouldn't be here. Remakes don't deserve to be on there. But for some reason, RE7 Rebirth, that's barely been a conversation. Erdtree has been more of a topic of conversation than Rebirth being on that list, because everybody's been kind of collectively like, nah, Rebirth is Game of the Year, until Astrobot and Metaphor ReFantazio came to really kind of take people by surprise. I don't know. If I see Erdtree on there, guaranteed it takes it.
Oh yeah,
and I'm gonna be a little bummed.
You said the list comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, they're putting out the nominees. I'm gonna vote tomorrow, for everything, and see where it goes.
Tomorrow too.
I like to vote. It's still fun.
Text me and remind me, because I
might send you the link.
I'm actually off this entire week.
Hey, enjoy that.
So yeah, because start my new job soon. Hey, by the way, now that I have my new job, now that I'm outside of that freaking basement, I'm actually gonna be able to have a lot more time to play a lot more games, I think. So
hey, it's always good.
Pretty
to
happy
hear.
About that.
I always try, man. I try to find my spot, and I don't know. Game Awards are fun. I very much enjoy them. I'm always going to continue to enjoy them. I think last year was a little controversial, with Jeff Keighley
right
kicking people off the stage as they're mourning the loss of their coworkers. Like that was kind of, I don't think, no, don't get me wrong. I don't think Jeff Keighley meant any ill will. He was trying to mitigate not having Christopher Judge incident happen again, where Christopher Judge went up there and
I forgot about
gave the world's longest acceptance speech at 9 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was just way too long. So I get what he was doing, but man, we got to find a better middle ground, because it was so messed up when it was like, please get off the stage, and they're like, and we're mourning the loss of, and he's like, shit.
Damn.
Yeah, and they were kind of pushing through some of those categories last year. I hope, I was a little disappointed in last year being much more of a commercial fest.
Mm-hmm.
Which, don't get me wrong, I don't want to get rid of reveals at the Game Awards. That's part of the fun of the Game Awards, is we love what came this year, and then we get to look forward to what's coming out in years to come.
Right.
But I really do think, I think Jeff Keighley announced like 13 titles last year. I think it was a bit much, because he's only on for like 2 hours, and it was a majority. He would like do a reveal and then come back, and he would just breeze through some of the categories, and I was like, man, these people didn't get on stage. Like, I was so hyped when Sea of Stars got Indie Game of the Year, and he just like breezed past it on screen. It was just like, Sea of Stars Game of the Year, congratulations.
Like, well, hold on a second. Like,
nobody got to accept it. Nobody got to do anything. So I don't know. We'll see. I think they're fun. I think people take them a little too seriously. And then we have topics of conversation like this where we spend 30 minutes being like, no, it can't. Yes, it can. No, it can't. But we'll see.
Well,
what's your game of the year?
Mine?
I know you didn't get to play much, but if you have one that you played this year.
I mean, I would say, I want to say Black Myth Wukong, but like I said, that's like really out of all of the contenders, that's the only one I really actually put some hours in. Because I really wanted to play Stellar Blade, but I just never had a chance to. And also, when it came out, how much was it? It was like 70, something like that. And I was like, and at the time I was paying off the last bit of my car, and then had to buy, or not my car. I was paying off the last bit of my credit card, and then my whole car thing. I had to buy a new car, and I'm like, dang, I don't have any more money for games anymore. It's probably between Black Myth and, I want to say, of what I saw, Astrobot. I watched a little bit of Astrobot. Seemed like it was fun.
94 on Metacritic is pretty. Seemed
square. Like it was fun.
Dude, but I need to play it.
Yeah, I would say that of the games that I have, I would say just experience with Astrobot, just watching gameplay. Yeah.
This is the first year since the Game Awards came out that I didn't play a majority of what the nominees were. Even last year, I was able to get as much as I could knocked out. I wish I had played Alan Wake 2. I should have just done it.
Man.
It sucks, dude. It sucks. I remember the first game of the year, or the first Game Awards in 2014.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, this is it. Games have finally made it. Like, that's where it was for me. So I was like, games are here. And then when Dragon Age Inquisition won it, I remember I was like, I played that fucking game. I have a say in it. And just from that point forward, every year's nominees, I have played a vast majority of them. Like, I think back to like 2015, it was super easy to put The Witcher 2 or Witcher 3, because it was like, I played Metal Gear Solid, I played Fallout, all these things that were Game of the Year, and it's just weird to be this year and be like, man, this list, I've only played like 3 out of the 6. Like, damn, I only got half a choice here. I'm still gonna vote. I still like to. It's fun, but it is weird to not play all the games you want to anymore. Especially because when it's like you said, like you have money to think of and time on the back end. Yeah. I probably could have spent the last few weeks playing Metaphor ReFantagio, but I freaking fell in love with Blasphemous, and I was like, I kind of want to just enjoy my games. Like, I kind of want to just enjoy what I'm playing and have a good time.
That's the point. That's the point of all this, is just your own enjoyment. So
exactly. Then you think of weird years like 2019. Look
oh
at
my
these.
god!
Control, Death Stranding, Outer Worlds, Super Smash Bros, and then Sekiro. It's crazy, man. I was that nerd out, man. I could probably name every single game of the year off the top of my head, but those days are kind of dwindling,
slipping away
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
Bottom line, shout out the Erd Tree. I love your fans. I don't think it should be there.
Shouldn't be.
I don't think it should be there. We can have a bigger discussion on remakes. I think everybody should, because that's going to be a hard one. What I will give that tweet, though, is that it says, if the jury says. And I think that's a pretty stern point of, look, if the vast community says that it deserves this nomination, and then that same vast majority votes for it, who are, like, if you're going to make it a voting system for these awards, similar to, like, the Oscars and all this crap,
true. Yeah,
it's a democracy, man. If the people voted, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. So if they say Elden Ring is Game of the Year, then I will. I mean, it's like when Elden Ring made Game of the Year. I swore on my life, I was like, nah, God of War Ragnarok. It's gonna take it. It's gonna take it. It's gonna take it. No, I was
we were all wrong.
Dead wrong. I was so dead wrong. Yeah, no, I wasn't even close to being right. But even though it was my Game of the Year, but it was like, and then you go back and play Elden Ring, and I love that I can still be a gamer that can probably play these things and recognize why it wins. Like Baldur's Gate 3, dude. 6 hours in, knew that I wasn't going to be able to finish it, but in that 6 hours, dude, one playthrough.
This is the greatest
game of the year. Yeah,
this is the greatest game of the year.
I was like, it's insane how quick it grabbed me as an RPG to be holy shit, like nothing's beating this. This is Baldur's Gate 3, in my opinion, is probably game of the decade. It is probably game of the decade. I can't wait till you play it.
I'm gonna
all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be texting me like, bro, guess what I just did?
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm waiting for deployment.
Right.
So I have the time to get it done, knock it out. But I'm gonna go to town on that freaking thing, and I'm excited, man, because I think games like that come once in a blue moon, where you have your Red Dead Redemption 2s, your like every now and then you get a year that just is a masterpiece of a year, like 2018, 2023. You go back even far back as like 2004. Seeing these games come, like 2018 to me is still like my favorite year of gaming. Every single one of those suckers was a banger. Every single nominee for 2018, if any of them won it, I would have been like, deserved. Deserved. I'm amazed Red Dead 2 didn't take it. To this day,
that's still incredible, that because I was playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2. I just wanted to go hunting. And I just, even how many years now? 5 years?
2018, yeah. So, 5 years.
5 years on, and it's still just
6 years.
Damn. It's still like,
it's an incredible video game. And I voted for God of War because, to me, dude, God of War as a linear narrative.
Oh yeah, no,
the remake or the 2018 is just insane how good that game was and still is. Cory Barlog, I want to shake that dude's hand and be like, you took probably what, in my opinion, the biggest risk in video games, and it paid off, bro. Good on you. Like, it paid off so hard that I'm impressed, and so, but. I like Game of the Year coming up. I love the Game Awards. I'm excited, dude, because apparently PlayStation has an actual showcase in December. Fingers crossed. Not a state of play. Apparently there's a showcase. Like, that's a rumor. I really hope somebody please just give us I don't care if it's Naughty Dog or Santa Monica, reveal one of your new IPs. Let Cory Barlog's Space Adventure or whatever game that these guys are working on, let it be revealed, so I can just, like, getting Ghost of Yote was finally like such a nice, like, PlayStation's here for the first time in 5 years, man. It's ridiculous.
People are saying possibly December 3rd.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. And in Switzerland or something like that, it was getting hosted.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say where.
Either way, so things like that I'm excited for. Games are still trucking, man. That's just where I'm I thought 24 was going to be an absolute dud. And there's some pretty good games this year, man. It's not bad at all. For what it could have been, considering all the first-party studios of both Microsoft and PlayStation shit the bed and just nothing came out. It's pretty impressive that they've salvaged like these studios, especially, and I like it because you look at game science, right? Like building Black Myth Wukong. Good on you, man, to give us something to love like that. When you're not hindered by these major studios like Sony and Microsoft. You're just a game studio making your vision, making it happen. Atlas does that all the time, and that's why Metaphor Revantaggio immediately became people's like, oh, this might be game of the year. And I like that, man. I love getting the game of the year talk. I'm into that stuff, dude, where it becomes like a competition and my vote is this, that, and the other, and we'll see.
We shall see. All right, well, that is me.
That is you.
On should they be considered? Should DLC be considered game of the year? I fully don't think so. I do think that there could be some gray area because of 25-year-old nostalgia, but I say no.
I'm gonna stick with no. We should come back at it again with remakes. Really have a good discussion on remakes. That's a rough one, man. That one's a super gray area.
I need to replay. I need to play a few more remakes. Honestly, I haven't really been playing as many remakes as I probably should.
Resident Evil 4.
I know. Yeah. Well, I need to play Resident Evil 2 for because was it Resident Evil 2 remake first?
I don't think you have to. You can. Yeah, it sets things up.
Right.
I don't know how much of the Resident Evil series you're a fan of. I don't know.
I mean, I know I'll probably be a fan of it. It's just I'd never, like when I was young, I just never got into it. My dad wouldn't buy me any of the games, and then by the time I got old enough to buy games, I was buying like other stuff. So
yeah, I got.
And by then it was like Resident Evil 6 and 7. I'm like, I guess I'm too late.
You don't need.
It's pretty much just like
6.
Final Fantasy. It's like Final Fantasy 17. You're like, I don't know, man. Like, what?
At least with Final Fantasy, every single Final Fantasy is different.
It's different. I hear that. Yeah,
I feel like so some people don't understand that. I think that's, dude, and I've been saying it forever now that Final Fantasy has got to stop having numbered renditions because I think it hurts them more than helps them. Like Final Fantasy 16 is great, dude. Final Fantasy 16 is a great game. It was completely overshadowed last year. And I was like, dude, they've got to stop making these numbered entries because for people who don't know about Final Fantasy, if anybody listens to this, every single Final Fantasy is different. So in the 90s, I need to remember what the original game studio was called. Google that while I'm telling this story. That's going to drive me nuts. The original game studio was about to go under, and they had one last shot at a JRPG that they were creating. Long story short, they made a game called Final Fantasy. It was going to be their final game that they had ever made, and it became a series hit, and they bounced back after Final Fantasy 2. Every entry in the Final Fantasy series is a different video game. It just has a lot of the same niche and JRPG elements. So, like, some of the animals in the universe are the same. Some things remain, like the XP, the way the games are played, remain relatively the same. But every single story, character, and universe in Final Fantasy is different. And a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, dude, this is the 16th game of the series. No, you can pick up Final Fantasy 7, and you can pick up Final Fantasy 16. You are playing two completely different games. And people I don't know how that's been if you're not into video games, it's such a weirdly kept secret. I don't know how, but I think it's hurt them over the years. You can go pick up Final Fantasy 16 right now and enjoy the experience and miss nothing. All you're not going to pick up on is like, what the fuck is a chocobo? Like, that's it. That's all you're missing is very little things. So
it was called Squaresoft.
Squaresoft, thank you. Which eventually became Square Enix. Yeah. Jesus. They were about to go under. They were about to be done.
So that's why they named it Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
That's pretty fun. And then it just became an absolute hit. And they were like, hey, that saved them. That's probably
we're
pretty
looking
cool.
At like 26 years later, they're still making
more than
Fantasies. Like, dude, Final Fantasy 3, I think needs
when it
a
first
remake.
came out. The first. Well, no.
The first Final
Fantasy
is...
came out in 1987.
Oh shit! I didn't realize it was that old. So yeah, you're talking significantly old.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Well, the fun facts. The more you know.
The more you know.
But that is me talking about Final Fantasy.
All right.
As usual, good talk.
I appreciate you talking about this stuff. We will probably be talking about the final list the next recording. So that'll be fun.
I'd like to.
I will have definitely finished a couple of games that we can talk about next time. Yeah, because I still have to finish a game with my girlfriend.
You still playing It Takes Two?
Yeah, well, we haven't played it in a while because I've been gone for like the last month, and then before that I had a whole bunch of work and studying and stuff to do. So, but yeah. So, all right. Leave a comment.
Watch our video, please.
That was a lame way to finish it. I was trying to think of something else, but it was off the top of my head. You know what? We're gonna keep that in because this is Brewing with Company. Stay caffeinated.